What is going on, everyone? This is Boit here, and we're going to be doing another post-game chat. Today, I wanted to talk about Norse and how to deal with Norse with Egyptian. You know, there's everyone and their mum is going to say, well, Egyptians just play one town center, exert all the pressure in the world onto the Norse player, and you will be able to win through sheer pressure. Now, this works to some degree, but I do believe that a good Norse player at a level at or above you is going to win at least some of the time, if not more than that. What I think is powerful with Egyptians is that realistically, the Egyptian army, if created correctly, just simply beats the Norse army. You have axemen, you have chariot archer, you have slinger, you have spearmen, you have really powerful myth units, you got really powerful heroes. There's really not a whole lot that a Norse player can do to beat a well-constructed Egyptian army. Now, when you look at the win rates, you don't see this at all. You see the Norse players sort of doing really, really well, like probably above, at least above 50% of the time. You see Egyptian doing kind of poorly. Now, I haven't really looked 100% into what the win rates are per matchup, but can almost guarantee that Egyptians are kind of struggling at the moment. And while I think I understand why, I don't think I agree that it's due to necessarily balance, more so not really understanding what the Egyptian player can actually do and what the Norse player is not allowed to do. Now, if the Norse player isn't allowed to do something, then obviously then certain other things are going to happen. So, for example, what I'm going to show you in this game is what happens when the Egyptian player goes for a second town center. What is the Norse player allowed to do? How can we stop them from getting away with stuff? And what I mean by that is, how can we stop them from being economically greedy? Like, they have to use their army to build a town center. We can have our army attacking them and continue building extra units and stuff. So we don't need our army to build a town center. We can use our pharaoh to empower our town center to build it even faster. They can't build their town center immediately because they need more units to do so. So realistically, there's no timing which works for the Norse player to get their town center up immediately. Which then comes into the next part, which is, well, you know, Norse economy is absolutely gigantic, right? When you compare it to the Egyptians' economy, when you compare it to the Greeks' economy, even the Norse economy, you know, the Norse economy is just really, really strong. And then I look at it and go, I made a mistake there, but let's just ignore it. And then you look at the Egyptian economy and say, hang on, but if I just have, say, 1, 2, 3 minutes of two town center on my opponent, which is a long time, then all of a sudden, no longer do they have the stronger economy, and I have the ability to make the army, which they can't counter. So how do we do that? That's what we're going to be going over today. So long intro, long amount of talking, but let's talk about it. So I'm here showing you, I believe this was a 4:15 advance time. Generally, I'd prefer to get a 4-minute advance time into a fast second town center, but I accidentally clicked on a tree, dumped a whole bunch of resources which I gathered, and I wasn't able to get there. So we went with a 4:15. And you're going to see here that it doesn't matter, but it does matter. I would much prefer a 4:15. Sorry, I much prefer a 4-minute advance time and be able to be building my units faster. You'll see exactly why that is very, very shortly. Nonetheless, what our plan here is okay, if Norse player goes for a one town center themselves and tries to pressure us, no worries. We'll sit back, we'll build units, we'll defend. If they are really, really powerful and they can break our town center, we're just going to try and not lose any villagers, pull back into our main base, make sure we take advantage of our extra villagers and our production speed, and be fine. Now, our barracks is coming up here. I have also sort of screwed up with my priest as well. This map here, Megalopolis, I need a couple more obelisks up to scout all the town centers so that they can't sneak a second town center up. Realistically, I'd like to have my priest already back in my base here to be empowering this barracks up, but nonetheless, I'm playing against a Freyr player, and they've just advanced to the Classic Age, so quite a lot quite a lot behind me here. Nonetheless, we're going to start making axemen here. Just axemen. Why? Because if he wants to go for a 5-second town center, he needs to build infantry. So I can just build axemen and I can just look to deny this. If my opponent shows me raiding cavalry, great. I will be reacting to that and making spearmen. No problems. It's very, very simple. I've already got the resources for it. It's great. If they don't, then I know that, something funky's happening. Either they're going for a fast heroic for some sort of a timing, which I'm scared of. I can defend that with a whole bunch of wadgets. I've only got one monument at the moment, so an extra monument would be a good idea if I see nothing. And then get those wadgets out. They can deal with walking woods. They can deal with everything with good positioning and some priests. I should be okay. And yeah, so there's the three options, right? They're building infantry for a town center. They're going to the heroic age, or they're going to be spamming raiding cavalry at me. All of which I should be okay with. Now, if they spam raiding cavalry at me and then they grab a town center, there's not much I can do. But I've already grabbed myself an advantage there, and I now spotted that they're getting their town center, and they're getting their town center right in front of me. So I don't even need to use shifting sands here, which is fantastic if you ask me. I grab my pharaoh, I grab my axeman, I grab my wadget, and it's time to go. So at this point, with this amount of axemen and good micro, I realistically can deny a town center here. I've got a lot of axemen. I've got more axemen coming. He does a great job here of microing his Herser onto my wadget, and we'll kill that one. I do a terrible job of focus firing with my axemen, and he actually manages to kill quite a lot here. A little bit surprised. I actually think I should have been able to win that fight, but because I was 15 seconds late to the classical age, I was maybe one axeman short. In fact, I was one axeman short, and with that extra axeman, I would have hard won that fight. Now, that doesn't mean everything's over here. With Ra and well, definitely with Set, you've got your animals of Set. There's no way that anything goes wrong here. But with Ra, I've got a technology called Skin of the Rhino, which is really, really good. I'm watching that town center going up, and I'm saying, I really don't want this to happen. And it's time to shifting sands in. And we've also got the ability to villager rush. Hey! And I'm also going to pick up that upgrade, and we're good to go. So we deny the town center, half completed, or like 3/4 completed. That's a huge sink on their resources lost. So I genuinely believe there is no way for a Norse player to realistically get themselves a fast second town center against an Egyptian player who opens correctly with the fast second town center play. I haven't been able to figure it out as a Norse to get it up. And I guess the only realistic way to do it is for the Norse player to set up walls and deny line of sight. That's the realistic way to do it. And maybe they can do that with like a 5-minute advance time and set up the walls or whatever, kill off the obelisk. But nonetheless, that's my thought process there. So yeah, there's that's the big advantage. Now the game's not over yet. I haven't won the game, but I've just created myself a gigantic advantage. So now I just have to convert it. And like I said, I do not believe that the Norse army beats an axeman, spearman, chariot archer with upgrades army. What does beat this army is making poor decisions as the Ra player. So for example, right now, what can my opponent do here? Well, one, they can try and rush the heroic age. Not scared of that against Freyr. Freyr's got what? A gear. I'll just run away. I might even save favor here and get an extra shifting sands. They could go for flaming weapons. I'm not exactly scared of flaming weapons either. I could probably just fight it and be fine, but I could also run away with shifting sands. What else could they do? They could spam units. Not scared of that at all. I've already told you I'm able to beat their army, and my economy is feeling very, very good now. They could grab a town center. They could grab a village center. If they want to grab a village center, go for it. I'm going to go for a gold control sort of idea. I'm all good here. So all of the options that Norse has here are, I don't feel like really work. So at this point, after making the mistake of going for a fast second town center, getting punished for it, yeah, I feel like they're in a technical losing position. Now he does a good little bit of a raid here. Bit of miss micro from me, but we're back onto the gold mine. It's all good. He does manage to find a villager here, but we're going to come and chase that down. I see he's got a handful of dudes. It's time to get upgrades. One upgrade against Norse that doesn't matter is the leather frame shield for the spearman. It gives 10% or 20% pierce armor. And, well, Norse doesn't do pierce damage, so I don't need that. One upgrade that is amazing for Norse, and one reason why on pretty much every single map, in fact, on every single map against Norse, I think if you're Set or Ra, you should definitely go for Da, is Scalped Axe. Gives you an extra 15% hack damage on your Axemen, as if they're not already good enough. They are good enough, but an extra 15% then now means they're actually doing okay against raiding cavalry as well, which are the technical counter to Axemen. So now I'm doing okay. Not well. I'm still losing, but I'm doing like okay against raiding cavalry. I'm obviously owning any sort of infantry, and the other unit that beats the Axemen, if controlled well and my units controlled poorly, is the throwing Axemen. But I'm just going to control my dudes fine. So yeah, we're in a spot now that I don't mind if they grab a town center. I don't mind if they get heroic age. I don't want to throw my army away. I'm so far in front on economy. I'm already at 60 villages. At the 11-minute mark, they're probably at 40-ish. So 20 villager lead. Super happy. I've got all the rains in the world. I can click rain again and again. I can make myself a whole bunch of widgets. He hits the heroic age. No problem. I'm going to go to the heroic age now myself. And yeah, we just have to wait that one out. I've got a couple of slingers out just because I saw all the throwing axemen. Realistically, if I can help it, I don't want to build any slingers. But I was worried that maybe he would all in me and I need those slingers. The slingers are completely fine. Don't get me wrong. I just think Chariot Archers are better against Norse. Chariot Archer, Spearman, Axeman, Avenger with Segment Bone Bow. Yeah, it doesn't really get any better than that for Egyptians. You can also make some camel riders because you're playing as Ra. If you're playing as Set or Isis, maybe not. Obviously, Isis doesn't have Horus or Da, but nonetheless, options are there. So now up through Segment, Da Segment available. Da Segment Horus is available for two of the Egyptian gods, so Ra and Set, which is the ultimate, like I said, this is the ultimate counter to Norse. If you want to beat Norse, or if Norse are having a problem for you, start going these two gods and start profiting. Don't bother with Anubis, don't bother with Bast. Bast is perfectly fine for Ra, Anubis is perfectly fine for Set, but the simple fact of the matter is that the army is just so good. You can see these units coming in. He gets a nice little taunt on my stuff, but all his dudes are dead here before anything gets in. I can grab this town center, no problem. I can put a citadel down, claim this position. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is how powerful citadel is. It's arguably the strongest defensive god power in the game, probably on par with like forest protection, which is also really, really powerful for the Chinese. Can't really think of anything else that is close, like sentinels or yeah, but it's very, very good. You realistically can't kill a citadel while there's an army sitting underneath it. So we've literally just controlled the entirety of the center of the map right now. So happy days. We're super far in front on economy, and yeah, this is a position that I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I've been in many, many times against Norse with Egyptian. I'm just like, why would I do anything else? And I've done this against, I think I played against like Keto a few times, where Keto, he tried to go for the other option, which is more one town center play. And I do think that the game is a lot more close when the Norse player goes for that. It's the better option where you go for raiding cavalry and you go for that sort of an opening, and you try and put pressure on, you get some damage done, and then you drop the town center and you try and bring the game. But even so, once I get the Horus, it's lights out. Like I've said it a million times. I'm not. Maybe you guys can tell me what you think, and maybe you're like, I'm stupid. Boit's being stupid. He doesn't know the counter to Horus. With Norse, it's obvious. I'm like, no, I don't. I legitimately have no idea what Norse is supposed to do against Horus Spearman, Horus Axeman, Segment Slingers, Segment Chariot Archers. Take your pick. I don't mind. I'm still building slingers here because does take quite a while to set up the infrastructure for chariot archers, but you know what, if these slingers ever end up becoming a liability, I will definitely be moving into chariot archers, as he comes in with Tempest and a Gullimbursi. This is the big power spike for Freyr, and I say, okay, cool. I'll retreat back to my ridiculously powerful Citadel, and I'll just sit underneath this. It's all good. Happy days. I made a whole bunch of mercenary cavalry there for some reason. Probably shouldn't have, but it's nice to have a little bit of extra defense. And we can throw down more Migdols, control more of the map. Even if he gets the 3 town centers, we're going to be on 4 town centers here, so super, super happy. I want to get to the Mythic Age if I can here. Keep spamming out units. I think I've only got 5 barracks still, which is, without a doubt, a mistake. I should have like 7 barracks, 8 barracks at the moment, and I probably should have 2 Migdol strongholds, but making these mercenary cavalry did slow us down a little bit. And you can also notice that my map is completely black, which is obviously terrible. Don't want to have that, as I send some villagers forward onto a gold mine there and some villagers into a black area. I kind of know there's gold mine at the top of the map. It's Megalopolis. There's always gold on the edge or the corner of this map. I kind of know, just because I played the map a billion times. But he just spots us over on this position, and then I very smartly go over onto these berries to say, hey, he's not going to notice me here. But nonetheless, if we just put pressure on, generally speaking, those sorts of wild resource grabbing things are fine. I find myself some food, but not a gold mine. There is a gold mine over there. I find some food, but not a gold mine, and say, hey, I'll just take that, and I'll move my forward food villages there back onto gold. Not a good idea. Should have kept scouting. Would have found it. It's fine. But yeah, another little known fact here is that rock giants actually get counted by, sure, you can counter them with priests and pharaoh, but they actually get counted by siege towers. They have only like 40% or 50% crush armor, and the siege towers have got huge crush damage. So yeah, you can definitely go for that. Not a problem. As he spots me, I still only have 1 Migdol. This is bad. I'm making elephants here because I'm like, I just want to push. I want the game to be over. We're not going for any chariot archers. Not a terrible move. Elephants are actually pretty good against Norse now, to be honest. They've got bonus damage versus throwing axemen. So technically speaking, they're a better counter against, not a better counter, they're an option against throwing axemen, just like chariot archers are, so and slingers. So I realistically could go spearman, axeman, elephant here as well and have a good game. But I want to have the everything else. And you can see this is a confusing thing for those of you who try and follow sort of what I've said about barracks units and when to build, or sorry, macro, and when I said to build extra barracks. It's generally when you see numbers on your in your barracks, and here I was playing piano on my keyboard, hitting QWE, trying to just spend all my resources, and didn't really realize that I had multiple units queued up in a barracks. I finally did and threw down some barracks now, but yeah, this is why my population isn't at full, and I've still got resources in the bank, simply put. But yeah. So yeah, at this point, whenever the Norse player is on the back foot, just kill their houses, kill their buildings. They have to pull back. They have to get buildings back up. They can't really support this. I think unfortunately I don't get to show off the power of Horus here, but this is simply put a fantastic way to play against Norse. Very simple. Plan is incredibly simple. Get a second town center. While the town center is going up, put a barracks down, make axemen, get the line of sight onto all the town centers. Be really keyed into what the Norse player can do. 3 options. Option number 1, get a town center themselves, just deny it. Option number 2, spam raiding cavalry or spam units at you, play defensive, no problems. And option number 3 is a fast heroic. Get an extra monument, make wadgets, hold, no problem. So there's like so simple. The plan is so simple from the Egyptian side. Now, I'm not saying that Norse can't win this. I'm not saying that Norse is weak. I'm just saying that like the plan is very simple from the Egyptian side. If you follow this plan and lose, then you probably have made a mistake somewhere inside of the plan, rather than strategically speaking. Rather than your god rank being bad, it's more like you made a strategic mistake inside of the strategy, or a tactical mistake inside of the strategy. Nonetheless, if you guys have got any questions on this, maybe want to see something similar where I do a little deep dive into a strategy against a certain god, let me know, and I'll see if I can make that happen. But this one here against Norse, I thought was very, very interesting. And yeah, I thought I wanted to share it with you guys, and you guys can tell me what you think. And I'll see you guys in the next one.